Adding and managing patient problems is a basic function in most EMRs. Amazing Charts makes this easy by simplifying the problem search in the program. First, let's look at searching out a problem. In the patient's chart, there's a field for diagnosis. Click your mouse in that field to begin the search. Amazing Charts uses CoStar for its search terms in the program. This means you'll be able to search common terms when looking for a problem. For example, if the patient has a cold, previously you would have to search for nasopharyngitis. With Amazing Charts, you can just search common cold. If you want to add that to the patient's problem list, double-click on the problem to add it. For more complex problems, it is easier to use the Lookup DX button. This expands the search window, making things a little easier to see. For a complex problem, it is always easier to start with the most general term first. For example, cancer. From there, you can narrow down what you are looking for more specifically. Words do not have to be in any specific order for the search to find the problem. When searching codes, you'll notice there are two colors, green and yellow highlighted codes. The green codes are codes that are considered billable. Please note that with ICD-10, just because a code is billable does not mean an insurance company will reimburse it. It just means that it is able to be sent to the insurance company. The yellow codes have two different meanings to them. Yellow codes that have 3 zeros as the codes are codes that no longer exist in ICD-10. These are usually codes that have existed before in ICD-9 but are no longer available in the new code set. There's another type of yellow code, and that is a refinable code. These are codes that at their basic level are not billable, but need to be refined to be more specific. Let's look at an example for one of these codes, an injury. Search ankle fracture in the search field. When you search for an ankle fracture, you will notice that the code is yellow, but there's an actual code in the code box, not just 3 zeros. This indicates that the code is refinable. Select the code and click Refine Selection. This will expand the code section to allow you to pick a more specific code for this diagnosis. To see all the codes in this set, click Expand Search in the top right screen. This expands and shows all codes in the S82 code set. As you can see by the counter in the bottom left, there are 3,096 codes within this code set. While that can be daunting to sort through, they can be searched easily. The search field at the top is now searching exclusively under the S82 code set, so we can use that to narrow our search. You can narrow quickly by searching for things that you know about this injury right off the bat. For example, is this the first time the patient has been seen for this injury? If so, then it's an initial encounter, and we can type INI in the search field. Next, we would know what leg the injury is on, and if this is an open or closed fracture. You can see by typing a few partial words, you have narrowed our code selection down from 3,096 to 67 codes. We can then further refine by indicating the type of fracture and specifically what bone it is. We are now down to just a few codes to choose from. ICD-10s can be searched by code as well, so if you know a specific code that you are looking for, you can simply type the code to find the diagnosis. There's a new feature for version 9 that makes searching a little easier as well. We have added a diagnosis favorites option to the search. This lets you mark codes as favorites so that they can be easily searched later. You can use this feature when there are multiple descriptions for a single ICD-10 code. Search for the code you want. When you find the code that you want to mark as a favorite, click the diamond to the right. To search your favorites, click the option for Search Favorites and type the code. The list will filter to only those codes that you have marked as your favorites. Once a code is added to a patient's problem list, you do not need to search it again for follow-up visits. Simply click the drop-down on the problem list and select the problem. This will add the same code you diagnosed them with last time without having to research that code. Another trick you can use for adding problems quickly, especially multiple problems, is to use the templates in your assessment section. The easiest way to do this is add the problems you typically would add for a problem set. For example, if you do a normal well child exam with an immunization, you would typically add Z00.129 and Z23. Once you add these to the assessment field, click Alt and right-click to save this as a template. Do not remove the hashtag or change the format of these codes. It is important that they stay like this. Once a template is saved, you can then add it quickly to any patient by right-clicking and then double-clicking on the template to add it to the assessment. This will add those diagnoses to the assessment. It will also add it to your billing, but will not automatically add those problems to the problem list. Adding problems is only part of the equation with an EMR. You will need to manage problems in the patient's chart as well. This is done through the patient's summary sheet. The problem list is found in the upper left corner. It is defaulted to show active problems only. You can click the drop-down and show resolved, inactive, resolved and inactive, or all problems. Clicking Add from this list will let you add a problem without needing to go to the patient's encounter screen. This can be used by a medical assistant to pre-populate a problem list from the patient's former records or transfer of care. Clicking Resolve will move the problems to the resolved list. This is used for problems like injuries, where the problem has a definite end after being managed. Clicking Inactive will move the problem to the inactive list. This is used mainly for problems that come and go on a routine basis, such as pleurisy. If a problem is inactivated, you can view it by clicking Show Inactive Problems from the drop-down. You will have a new option on the screen for Reactivate if you want to move that problem back to the active list. Clicking Remove will remove that diagnosis from the problem list permanently. This should be used for problems that you wish to delete from the medical record, such as problems that were added in error. Otherwise, you want to use the Resolve or Inactivate option. Clicking the Edit option will allow you to edit the dates for active, resolved, and inactive. This lets you correct the dates for each problem. There's a field for chronicity as well. Clicking this field in a problem will give you an option for a drop-down. In this drop-down, you have different options to select for this field. Choose the option that best fits for this problem. If you choose the option for self-limiting, you have options for a time frame. Selecting a certain time frame will set the problem to auto-inactivate after a certain time. This field is also reportable through the reporting tool in the report section. Right-clicking on any problem in the problem list will let you retrieve patient education for that specific problem. This will open another window with patient education from Lexicomp. You can click on the education you want to give and then click the print option in the top left to print the article out for that patient. You can print out the patient's problem list by clicking the print option at the bottom. This will open a new window. Click on the printer option at the top to print the problem list to your default printer. If you have any questions or want to learn more, contact us at techsupport@amazingcharts.com or call 866-382-5932.